Welcome back. Time for some quick hit predictions from the world of media. We predict the media will choose a new public enemy #1 to replace the ubiquitous incumbent, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who had such a successful run in the role in 2007.
My heart tells me you're the one for me. Mahmoud, I remember when it started, saw you on the news. You were hating gays.
Move over, Mahmoud, and enter President Hugo Chavez. We predict the Venezuelan will continue to be portrayed as a dictator by the U.S. news media, even though he's not, and will continue to make things worse for himself with outbursts like this.
George W. Bush. You are a donkey, Mr. Bush.
And we can expect Chavez to keep political activists on the web busy through encounters like this, when Spain's King Juan Carlos told Chavez to shut up.
¿Por qué no te callas?
Por favor, no hagamos diálogo.
A diplomatic incident turned into a ringtone.
¿Por qué no te callas? Callas. Callas. Callas.
And still with presidential predictions, we fully expect that Hosni Mubarak of Egypt will be falsely declared dead again in 2008. That rumor started in the Egyptian blogosphere last year and then showed up in conventional media in the Middle East. Eventually, his wife felt obliged to step in and set the record straight. We also predict that rumors of the death of Fidel Castro will circulate and prove to be wildly exaggerated. Castro, as regular viewers of the Listening Post know, has long been a favorite of over-eager obituary writers. Documentary making has been experiencing a renaissance in the English-speaking world over the past few years. Films like An Inconvenient Truth, Super Size Me, and Fahrenheit 9/11 achieving huge publicity and/or box office receipts. The Listening Post predicts that this year's event documentary will be King Corn. The piece is narrated by two young Americans, Yale University graduates who moved to Iowa to grow an acre of corn. It ticks a lot of boxes: social, food, and environmental.
And then you look down the meats, beeves, porks, chickens. You feed them corn, and that gets turned into their biomass that we consume.
But King Corn is greater than the sum of its parts. It's more cinematic than An Inconvenient Truth, a lot less didactic, a lot less in-your-face than Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11, and considerably more subtle than Super Size Me. And another highly political documentary will turn the name of Thomas Young into a household one in 2008. Young is the central figure in a documentary called Body of War, just released. Aged 22, he enlisted straight into the U.S. military after 9/11. But instead of being posted to Afghanistan to hunt down al-Qaeda, he was sent to Iraq. He was paralyzed by a bullet to his spine, and the film charts his new life as an injured war vet.
When I made the phone call on September 13th, it was because I saw the pictures of him standing on top of the pile saying that we were going to smoke the evildoers out that did this to us.
It's a powerful and moving film that's already won many awards. We predict that the continuing writers' strike in the U.S. will start to make a serious impact over the coming months, with a slew of reality shows hitting American television screens to make up for the lack of original written material. Among the gems to feature will be the return of that much-loved but oft-derided phenomenon, Gladiators.
American Gladiators returns. One of the top sports shows ever.
Writers, who needs them anyway? There was plenty of talk in 2007 about Web 2.0. But here's a prediction for 2008 for Web 3.0. Following the multimedia event that the Virginia Tech shootings became, and the murder of school children in Finland by a YouTube video poster, we predict that there will be calls for real regulation of YouTube.
Someone has to take responsibility for people posting evil, violent videos and then people going out and killing people, hating people. There has to be some way of controlling this to make the internet a real community, to make it valuable, to make it rich, not in economic terms, but in cultural and communal terms. People have to think of it in terms of responsibility and not just rights.
Here's another prediction. Here at the Listening Post, we expect that the Chinese government will slam shut the door that it opened to foreign media in the run-up to the Olympics.
The Chinese are already nervously opening a few doors to us and say, yes, come and have a look at how wonderful we are. And that will continue through the year, and of course there'll be this tension as we take a very interesting look at all the good things and also the bad things. And they're very nervous about this.
Come the end of the Olympics in August, the press freedoms rolled out for the Games will be rolled right back. Here's another Listening Post prediction. 2008 will be the year that financial journalism becomes front page news and stays there until 2009. Look for more trouble in the Middle East and the resultant effect on oil prices to have huge implications for global markets.
My people have been in this game for 25 years, and they are losing their jobs, and these firms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
However, according to financial analysts, the market is already set for turmoil after a tumultuous 2007 that saw the collapse of the British lender Northern Rock and ongoing problems in the U.S. property market.
What we're beginning to hear from some of the city economists and leading economists around the world, sotto voce a bit, is words like cataclysm, apocalyptic.
It's the truth. We as a nation are headed for an economic disaster.
Well, we've had an incredible boom for the last 5-6 years, perhaps the greatest global boom in history. But as so often with these things, it's created huge imbalances. The global currency structure is beginning to unravel. We've had a great debt bubble which has now burst. The world credit system had a heart attack over the summer. Things occurred that have never happened in the history of modern capitalism.
And so the Listening Post predicts that 2008 will be the year that financial journalism becomes headline news.
We've seen it here at the Daily Telegraph. We're writing a lot more for the front part of the newspaper. We have our own city section at the back, and now they're asking us to write pieces for the front page, for the home news pages. It's gone mainstream. You know, famously, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job, a depression is when you lose your job. And when that sort of hits home and people start seeing it in a very visible form, people they know, people in their families, then they will react.
Time, finally, for our prediction for the Listening Post's Internet Video of the Year. What's going to be the most talked about web video of 2008? Well, we've been looking at some of our past favorites to see if they have any guidance to offer us. Talking of inflation again, this little gem of a viral ad from New Zealand should inspire more of the same in 2008.
Oh my.
The filmmaker said they just wanted to emulate the glossy Ford car advert. The local media did smell a rat and set off to find the car, the balloons, and the people behind the stunt.
They brought in the crane halfway through the day and lifted up the car and...
Oh, man. Oh, mate. Oh.
Then there was Chris Crocker and his blubbery attack on the paparazzi over Britney Spears, called Leave Britney Alone.
Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more! Leave her alone!
Since its appearance, this video has been adopted and reworked for more assaults on the media, such as the somewhat more ideological Leave Israel Alone.
She hasn't seen peace in years. And all you people want is more, 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 more! More land! More concessions!
And the Russian version, Leave Putin Alone.
Как вы можете смеяться над президентом Путиным? Он хороший.
But here's our first internet video of the week for 2008. It's called Shooting War. It's an internet trailer for a full-length graphic novel, a glorified comic book set in the Iraq of the future. It looks good, bound to get talked about in 2008. For us, it's back to our regular business next week as we begin another year of watching the global news media here for you on Al Jazeera. We'll see you then here at the Listening Post.
I picked a brilliant time to head into the belly of the beast. Back home, the oil crisis was just hitting its crescendo. After the US and Israel had taken out Iran's nukes, the mullahs teamed up with the Islamic junta in Nigeria and Chavez in Venezuela to cut off oil to the west. The Saudis' oil facilities were under daily attack. Gas hit $10 a gallon, and the U.S. economy spiraled into recession. Too much blood had been spilt to give it all away now. The president finally purged the Iraqi army of the last Shiite extremists and reconstituted it with our old allies, the Baathists. The 10,000 American troops still in country are the most battle-hardened, ruthless mothers the Pentagon could muster. But even with the gloves off, they couldn't stem the bloodletting.